He started very early as an entrepreneur in the online world and has more than 2 decades of professional experience. Please welcome Sanjay Mehta, founder and joint CEO of Social Wavelength. His Twitter handle is SM63, that's numeric 63.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I'm sorry for that small break to fix the machine. The organizer had asked me to mail in the PowerPoint in advance so that it could have been mounted on the same machine, but I didn't get a chance to complete it till today morning, so sorry for that small inconvenience and small break. But yeah, ready to shoot. The topic is how to be relevant to your audience in 140 characters. Let's not take it too literally. The idea here is to say that in the social media space, typically when we talk about platforms like Facebook and Twitter, we're talking of really short pieces of content. We're not talking, large blog posts. And we're also talking of a very low attention span, which the reader has, which the fan has. In that space, how can you still be relevant? How can you find a way to make an impact to your audience? So that's the challenge which I'm trying to tackle. Just a quick look at my background. This is in Twitter style, taken from the Twitter page. I'm not going to talk about it much. You can have a look. So yeah, these were the earlier organizations which I was associated with. HomeIndia.com was my first startup, which was in the space of e-commerce way back in '98. And then I spent a year and a half with my friend Simarier as a CEO of Compare Infobase Limited in Delhi, and have founded Social Wavelength in 2009, and that's my current business. It's a social media agency. A partial list of some of the brands that we work with, and that's the last slide of any kind of pitch from my side. Everything else from here on will be content. So here's the thought. How often do we see headlines like this, right? Check out this, or something like that, buy one, get one free, right? All the time? 20% off, or this, how my car is better, etc., etc., etc. And where do we normally see them, right? So we see them on a hoarding, we see them on television, we see them on print, we see them in an in-store display, we see them on marketing brochures. Yeah, as long as they are there, it's all fine. No complaints. But the problem is that these headlines do not just stay on some of these traditionally well-known marketing platforms, but you see the same kind of lines also on social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter. Do you agree? A lot of brands, all that they pull out on their social media platforms is yet more marketing spiel. And that exactly is a problem, because it's not relevant. It's not relevant to the audience. I mean, they are not here to receive more of your marketing talk. When these come on Facebook and Twitter, the audience rejects us, because who cares if you have the latest in your stores, or there's 20% off? I mean, I've seen that elsewhere. I'm not here to get the same message here. So in spite of that, why does the social media content often look like marketing copy and advertising copy? I think the reason is that a lot of social media, most of social media still is marketing driven. The budgets come from the marketing departments, and so the first motivation is to let's go out and give some more marketing talk. Okay, because that's what we are here for. There's a huge legacy, because all the marketers, what they've done all their life is to broadcast marketing messages. So there is a legacy, and it's hard to do away with. This is the one way that they're written, not for years or decades, but forever. And these habits are tough to shirk off. So when you come onto social media again, that's the only thing you know. That's how you've written all the time. So you come to this platform, and here again, all you're doing is to keep talking the same old marketing and sales stuff. Except that it doesn't work. It doesn't work on social media. I mean, here's the audience on social media. A person who's spending time on Facebook, fundamentally here to connect with his family, with his friends, share thoughts with his colleagues. He's not here to get more of your marketing speed. He's not here, I mean, he gets enough of it wherever else he looks. He's on the street, he's seeing hoardings, he's on television, he's seeing ads, he flips any newspaper, all that he sees is advertising. So does he come to social media to get more of the same? I bet you not. He comes to social media, in fact, to get away from all that overdose of advertising and marketing talk. And the fact is that here he has a choice to not receive it, because if there is enough of that coming from any brand, any company, he not only has a choice to unlike, he has a choice to block or ban or report a spam. And some of the biggest brands have won the brand. Okay, I wouldn't name names here, but there are big brands who have been at the receiving end for almost being called spammers on social media. So you completely lose the respect as a brand when you try to do this. One gets tempted by numbers. So you say, okay, so I'm here on social media and I have the reach to 38 million or whatever the latest number may be of Facebook users. But these 38 million Indian Facebook users are not tuned into your Facebook page if you are a brand. They are not. They have come there by choice. They are there connecting with friends and they've liked a few pages, perhaps yours too, by choice. Or they could have got lured with one of your Facebook ads maybe, and they've landed up to like your page. But they are not obliged to see your posts or like them or even like your page. Okay, so just because they are there, don't take it for granted that, okay, now I can do what I want with them. Okay. The point is, these are the things that they can do. They can ignore it. So you would have, you have like 1 million fans on your page and you say, okay, here's my chance to get out all of my marketing messages, except that they can choose to completely ignore them. That's bad for you. Versus they can unlike and go away, so they won't even receive them anymore. So your millions can start falling down. As easy as it goes up, so it's easier to lose them also. The worst is they can go out and badmouth you, that this brand sucks, because all it does is to send me ad copies. Okay, so so you're doing that all with your right intentions of perhaps achieving some business results, business goals, and what you get in return is bad mouthing, because here the audience can talk back, not only to you, it can talk back amongst to each other and share that negative opinion. Okay. The reality is that yes, the audience can do all of that. They can ignore, unlike, badmouth. Okay, so if you continue to push out only marketing messages, recognize the downside which you're carrying in doing so. So what that means is that without doubt, you need a genuine and better content strategy on social media. It's not a strategy which replicates your marketing messages and puts them out onto Facebook. There has to be an alternate way to go about it. What it boils down to is to be respectful of the fans and anybody else who accesses your content. When I say respectful, it means that you have got their attention, you have got them to like your page. It's a privilege, it's not your right, and you handle that privilege with care by giving them value, essentially. Okay, that's the respect that we're talking about. Yes, value is the only thing which will hold your brand in good stead in front of them, and that's what you need to strive to give. The value could be anything. It's not always about doling out freebies, which a lot of brands also do. Now, occasionally that's not bad, But besides doling out freebies, it could also be that you give them information that they can't get easily. You provide them entertainment, you give services, you give love, you give respect, you give help. Any of this, as long as it appeals to the audience, it gives them a feeling that you care for them. That's good, and you can stay in their zone. They can stay connected with you. You can stay connected to them. Okay. So what basically it says that it all means is, are you relevant? And the relevancy could be any of those. The relevancy could be any of the kind of value which you drive for them. There's another technical reason to also have to be relevant. Why you have to be relevant? I'm not sure how many of you are aware of the Facebook algorithm around edge rank. Let me explain to you a little bit. So there is this concept that Facebook has, which is called edge rank, and what it does is, so earlier, before they brought this about, as a Facebook user, as a Facebook profile, you would have friends who you're connected with, and you would have brands or pages which you have liked. Usually what would happen is that if you went online at a particular time, any of your friends who have updated their status just a little before, or any of the pages which you had liked a little while before, if they had put out any status updates, you would have seen all of them in a certain sequential nature, typically chronologically by time. Some time back, Facebook went about a change and brought about this thing called edge rank, and which does not handle all these updates just by time. It puts in an additional conditional algorithm, and which doesn't show up all the updates from either your friends or the pages you like necessarily in a sequence. What it does is it gives you there are three factors on basis of which you see what you see on your page. One is the affinity. How close are you to a friend or a page? Now the closeness is decided by not by relationship, even in the case of a friend, but by how much you interact with each other. So if you have a friend and you comment on each other's posts or you like each other's posts, that's for Facebook is affinity. So in similar ways, if a page, if you like the page and you commented on it, you interacted with the post, that's showing to Facebook, that means that you have an affinity towards that page. So affinity is one factor. The second factor is a weight. If weight means if the post which has come out, is it just text, or does it also have images? Does it have videos? So that's weight. If there is images, it is more weight than text. If it is videos, it's even more weight. And the third factor is the time factor. So how long back did the post originate? So based on the combination of these factors, a post will be seen by a user or not seen by a user. So if your posts have been irrelevant, they have not touched the person, the fan, and he has not interacted, that means the affinity factor has gone down. It makes it even harder for the next post that you put to make it into that, the post that the fan sees. Because you become less relevant to him, and Facebook says if you're not relevant, you can remain irrelevant. So it's Facebook, in that sense, the algorithm is quite unforgiving. So that's one more reason that you need to be sure that you have your content which your fans like, they occasionally connect with you, they interact with them, and that's how you can actually make sure that you'll stay in that short list of the posts that the fan sees. So what is the meaning of relevance? So say for example, if you are an FMCG company, would that mean that just to be relevant to your fans, and just because they like these topics, you'll start talking about just about anything? Would you talk about Anna Hazare or Sunny or Rahul Gandhi or Mayawati or whoever, just to stay relevant? Is that how it is? Well, no, really. Relevance for the fans is certainly not at the cost of relevance to the brand. There has to be a middle ground. And this is what it is, that based on you as a brand and you as a business, there are certain aspects which are dear to you. So you ideally want to talk about your brand, but that's too close to you. But beyond the brand, maybe you want to talk about the product itself. So you may want to talk about Lux, but then you may want to talk about a soap, or maybe you want to talk about general taking care of your health or body or whatever. So the circles expand. So one is very close to your brand, second a little bit bigger, and then the third one. Likewise, there is an interest level for the user, which is very close to the person himself. Tell me something about how you can help me, or my society or my community, and somewhere there is a merge, that's that centerpiece, which is where there's value for the brand, there's value for the user. That's the space that you want to get to. I know I'm just running short, but this is an interesting last part which I want to talk about. Can you get emotional connect on the basis of your social media activities as a brand? Can you actually connect with the user at an emotional level? And that's the high ground. If you can get there, the Harley Davidsons and Starbucks of the world have got there as a brand. They've become so relevant to the fan, the consumer, that it's an amazing space to be in. But can social media help you get there? I find it very, very challenging, because what you're doing are putting out really small and short updates, which people are not receiving every day, they're not reading every day, they're receiving once in a while. Now with that kind of a challenge, do you have even a half a chance to get an emotional connect? And first of all, what is emotional connect? I think besides everything else, the emotional connect is that, supposing as a fan page, you stop making updates for a week. Are fans going to miss you? Hey, what happened to that page? Why is it not sending out any updates anymore? So that's the key emotional connect part. So will you miss it if it's gone? The other litmus test is, if your page was in existence for a while and a new update goes out from your side, would they recognize it even if there was no display picture or no branding that this is so and so brand? If you get some of these factors, then you might have got to the point of an emotional connect. I'm going to rush through the last 2-3 slides because I'm running short of time. So I'm going to just read out very quickly. Hopefully we can catch up either in the Q&A or during the breaks, if anybody wants to understand a little more. But the content plan then should evolve a theme, a kind of why you are here on social media as a brand. That's the content plan. The theme should have content, should be rich in content. It could have long life. It's not just today. It is interesting. It has good angles to branch out to. It has a storytelling ability. It's occasionally the tagline helps. If you are a Nike, you can just talk around the concept of just doing it. But if you don't have a reasonable tagline, you can create an interesting storyline. So if you're a Titan, you can create a storyline around always on time. Or if you're Coke, you can talk about life's a fizz, or Volkswagen could be a smooth ride. The statement can evolve into a huge story. Once a theme is in place, figure out the broad manifestations, figure out what is the personality of the person who is talking on behalf of the brand, the personality of the brand itself, which is on social media. Stay consistent to that personality, stay focused on the content style, and find a way to weave back the brand agenda into it, because it's not just storytelling. You finally have a brand goal which you need to bring back, tweak, improve on an ongoing basis. Check if it's working. Look at Facebook Insights. It's amazing data for knowing which of your data works, which doesn't. And benchmark numbers, tweak, and ensure that there is a long-term consistency so people connect with your style. Finally, remember, you're on social media, you're taking a live lecture, you're virtually performing. So your performance, people can stay in the seats or they can walk away. So you've got to take a call what kind of content you want, which the audience will stay in. Thanks.
We'll take only one question. There you go.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I just have one question. You nailed it by saying it's all about content marketing.
Yeah.
Now, the question is that when we have
a thriving community on Facebook, on Twitter, and now Google, I'm twisting it to Google Plus because everybody's saying you have to be on it, even if you don't like it. So when you create a theme, you create the content, going on duplicating, posting the same thing on every platform, to me, I don't know. on first creating the content, then ensuring that it's, for example, if I create a really good video, I will not create 3 different videos for Facebook, Twitter and Google Plus because the communities are different, right? So just some clarity on that. How would you tackle it? Thank you.
So you're right, it's all about content marketing. I mean, content is a key play. You're not getting away from creating good content. Social media is no magic potion without good content. So I would like to quote an interesting statement which I've heard long back. It's not mine, but I love to quote it because I think it tells you what social media is all about. And it says that a Facebook fan tells the brand that I'll tell my friends about your brand, not because I like the brand, but because I like my friends. Okay, I think that statement tells what social media is about, that you have to be interesting to the friends so that the whole concept of word of mouth and viral happens. So that's content. Content will make it shareable and go forward. The way I see about the question which you asked is that I guess that a content piece has to be maximized. The only thing which is a constraint for a brand marketer is his time and his resources. And if you had, just because there are 25 different networks out there, it doesn't call for creating 25 times the content, but rather intelligently maximizing the use of one piece of content. So if I have, supposing I was talking here and this was being videotaped and this converts to a 20-minute video, I could find a way to use this 20-minute video for the next 10-12 days across various platforms. So I'll put up the entire video on YouTube. I'll find some interesting sound bites and slice them for 20-second clips which I might share on a Facebook or a Twitter, because on Twitter I don't expect people to click and listen to a 20-minute video, but if there is a specific point which was made in context, you crop it and say, okay, here's what Sanjay talked about so and so point, and that's there. And then you might transcript into a SlideShare presentation and put it there. You might even convert it to a script document. So you would use that multiple. You just try to see that it doesn't look absolutely identical if you can. And there may be times when a video is also on YouTube and also on Facebook without a change. Doesn't matter. A lot of times there's different audiences. For us the content is this is my content. People are not coming to all your pieces of platforms and looking at the same thing. Everybody has a life. So there's a different person coming to Facebook, there's a different person coming to YouTube, there's a different person probably going and looking at SlideShare or Flickr or wherever. Don't worry about it. Just use the same content. Try to see if you can repurpose it in a little creative way, and that should be good. I don't think that you need to really create multiple pieces. So, the speaker's privilege for an extra question.
Thank you. You have a hard job educating Indian brands on this.
Yeah.
How are you finding the experience of, sorry, John? Hello?
Hello. I imagine that you're having a hard job educating Indian brands about the importance of developing content for social platforms, and the relevance to their marketing budget and plan and strategy. How do you take on that challenge, and how do you face that, and what are the tools you're using for that?
I accept every such invitation which I get to come and speak, so that's a start.
But we're all marketers here. What about the brands themselves?
Yeah, no, just kidding. But yeah, we've been in this about 2.5 years, and if I can say that the early part, the first year which we spent as an agency, was a lot of concept sales. So exactly the kind of questions, a lot of education, but it might surprise you, and it surprises me, that the learning at the brand managers and the marketers has happened very rapidly. We find that people who got in early, who wet their feet in 2009, early 2010, today have matured. They ask us the right questions. We just love it because they talk business. They say, how do I get my business goals? Earlier it was about, let's get a Facebook page. We'll tell them that, got to start listening first, let's do monitoring, let's understand what people are talking about. And everybody, all they wanted to do was, get a Facebook page. I'm like, 98, I know we saw people wanting to get a website. I need a www on my card. So now this was all about Facebook page. But now people are asking the right question that, okay, I've got my million fans, but what next? How does it convert to any business value? So it's going into an interesting space. And this is where we feel that there's a whole lot of agencies at a small boutique and everywhere. But if we as an agency have to differentiate, I think we haven't, so this is, again, sorry, some marketing spiel coming up. So if you don't like it, sorry about it. But the point is that we like to differentiate as social media. We say that, this is not about one more page, and it's not just about large volume of fans, but it's about where does it end up as a business goal, and what do you need to get there? How do you transform the organization into a social organization and not just it being a marketing activity, but where does the CRM team get into, where does investor relations get in? It's all one melting pot out there. On Facebook, somebody will come and talk an investor issue, it may talk a complaint, everything. So the organization has to be connected, content has to be created across, it has to have a similar tonality irrespective of where it comes, it has to have a common voice, there has to be a certain SLA of response, everything has to fall in place, and they are listening. Gradually the change is happening. I'm happy they're listening, they're understanding it. I think change will happen. I'm very optimistic. Thank you.